All right, day 2 in London. So per usual, we had started off our mornings with a nice healthy breakfast, and by healthy I mean eggs, hash browns, and their poor freaking excuse for bacon. There's no, you couldn't even call it bacon.
They take it off the different section of the pig, so it's much more fatty and thick.
Yeah,
more like what we would call ham here.
This is really called ham. Like it just didn't give it that crunch, didn't get the saltiness from it. Just still ate it. It was fine. Always had like a cup of OJ or coffee just to get the day going. But that's pretty much how we started each morning. It was great. But then today is Friday, and it was going to be our museum day. So we went to a few different museums. We started off with the Twist Museum. So it's a very touristy place, but I saw it, I'm like, oh, this looks very interesting. Like both of us love optical illusion stuff and stuff that really messes with our mind. And so we took a little a tube ride over. And honestly, from start to finish is all optical illusion stuff. Like anything from like different visuals and stuff that really messes with your mind. You'll see like these different paintings that are standstill, but like if you move, they wave with you and it's like, whoa. One of the better installations was like this light one right here that literally goes in and out with LEDs. And honestly, I could have personally watched it forever. We want a little installation in our living room here. And even like this painting here. So like, as you see, like as you move, it goes in and out. But yeah, it was really cool just seeing all these different pieces. And then of course, when they have the interactive rooms like this. So somebody was kind enough to record for us, but this room looks like it's all one level, but it's actually slanted and just, you can kind of see, so we're all just like different sizes, not different sizes, different like heights and whatnot. What other part? Well, a good part was the dice on the wall that literally like I put my hand out, then as you back up, it literally like pops out at you, which is really cool. There's some other pictures too that like, it looks like shoes that are painted on the wall, but if you stand in a certain angle, they look like they're popping out at you. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really cool museum. So a good start to the day. Walked around some more, saw a H&M, so we quickly jumped into there. We have one down in Boston, I believe. But just looked around, saw a few things. All right, we'll be back. Saw a cute little piece for Veronica. But then moving on to museum number 2, Sir John Soane, who's, I guess, considered the architect of London. A lot of famous London pieces. Westminster Abbey. What else?
Some of the royal palaces and other things. Just a big architect in like, I think, late 1700s, 1800s.
Mm-hmm. So this guy, it was his house. Now, this guy had all this stuff in his house. Between the sculptures, the paintings, all like, it feels like you literally stepped back in time. Like, of course, this guy died however long ago, but like seeing all these sculptures that he had personally done himself, I'm pretty sure, and anywhere from different sculptures of Roman times, Greek times. He even had a freaking sarcophagus in his basement, like fully detailed, fully inscribed and everything. But then you see all these floor plans and all these pictures of some of the drawings and paintings he did for some of the more popular places we know around London.
My favorite room was the one that had like paintings floor to ceiling, and they had these awesome chairs that were completely made out of ivory, even though I don't believe in getting ivory. The chairs just had like this insane ornate detail, and they were really cool.
I know, showing a picture now, but like just the incredible detail. And they had these little, I forget what they're called, on the chairs in different pieces. So you wouldn't sit on there, put different stuff down, but you could clearly see all the detail that went into this. But again, you walk through each place and it's like different corridors and different rooms, and I swear you could get lost if you get turned around. One of my favorite parts was the stained glass and just seeing how the sun had shone right through it and just captures all the lighting. Going down to the basement, we got to see like a small little kitchen where obviously he had servants and whatnot and people help around the house. And people back then are pretty tiny. Like we're some 6 foot tall guys here, and seeing the little kitchen, the little utensils and everything, and like how small they actually were, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, people used to be a lot shorter, apparently.
And then somehow we grew, but that's America for you.
Yeah. So obviously you could see like his eccentric house is kind of crazy, and like Ronnie said, there's this big sarcophagus down there. Apparently he had sarcophagus parties where they hung out by the big crystal sarcophagus. But I thought that was a really cool one. That's like a smaller museum I definitely hadn't been to, so that was really cool for me. Because I obviously love to take you to stuff that I've seen, but love to see things that I haven't seen before as well. So
right. Yeah. And now we're moving on to the British Museum. So he's been there before. One of the things he really wants to bring me to is see the Rosetta Stone, being a language lover that I am. Unfortunately, they didn't have it because it was at a separate museum or something. Like, it just, of course, the day we wanted to go was completely separate, but it was fine. Like, and again, this museum puts New England's museums to shame. I mean, there's number one reason why is because the British stole everything. I never say that. Shh. But yeah, going through, we didn't obviously have time or really want to see the whole thing. Like, I love history just as much as the next person. Do I want to read everything? Do I want to learn every little artifact about everything? No. For me, it's a very visual thing. And so just seeing, like, specifically walking through Egypt, seeing all the mummies and the cases and everything, seeing the different hieroglyphics on the stones and the cases and everything was really cool.
Yeah, there's pieces of the Parthenon at the British Museum. I think you'll see some, or they might have already crossed over in the video, but there's all kinds of historical artifacts there. So I think just trying to get in and see as much as we possibly could was cool.
Yeah, so as Scott had said before, seeing bits and pieces of the Parthenon, which, yes, Greece. I don't know why I had to think about that, Greece. But yeah, no, I'm not even sure. The Parthenon was just kind of like a giant auditorium building, right? Are you sure? Okay, so yeah, so when it came crashing down and everything, bits and pieces were recovered. Again, part of them stolen. But just seeing, again, just the intricacies between, back then, you figure people did this by hand. They didn't have machines. They didn't have the technology we did, like to laser inscribe or anything like that. So all of this stone handwork was done by hand. And seeing the different pieces, seeing it all broken up and everything was really cool. Nothing like I've ever seen in New England personally. I mean, we have some museums down like in Boston and within New England and New York, but like this, again, nothing like we've ever seen before.
Yeah. This is a lot of Egyptian history. We love, obviously, we're cat lovers, so we had to see the mummified cats. You don't actually see any disgusting stuff of mummification, but I love the Egypt section. I think it's just really cool. Obviously, you know, there's like tons of cool hieroglyphs and like different, you know, learning another language is Ronnie's interest all the time. So go ahead and learn some hieroglyphics.
No, honestly, I mean, just like pictures you figure. I mean, of course, each one like tells a little different story, but just seeing how like people would literally write entire story out all in pictures and hieroglyphs. In the cases, they were pretty much like temperature controlled and censored and everything, so that way it could maintain it. Because we saw literally fully wrapped mummies, like you see them in cloths and whatnot, and sometimes in their sarcophagus, I guess, or the whole sarcophagi. But yeah, so you just saw it all. And it's like, it was really cool because it's right there. Like, of course, people going in and out of places, but like Egypt was definitely one of those that was really interesting to me. Definitely want to travel to Egypt at one point, but at least seeing this right now in the museum was really cool.
Yeah. Moving on after Egypt, I think my favorite part of this, I hadn't spent much time at the British Museum, like in every single area. So seeing all of the jade pieces from China was honestly just incredible. There's so much, like, I didn't even realize that jade had many colors. Like, there's classifications of jade. I always thought it was just like a green stone, right? But apparently it's like all colored stones that the Chinese said that was jade, you know. So it was just cool seeing all these different like soldier pieces, like horses. They likely use them in like burials for kings and whatnot.
No, yeah, and anybody that knows me I love the whole Chinese history part of it. It dates back thousands of years. So you think U.S. is hundreds of years, British a couple thousand, but like the Chinese and Asian countries are thousands upon thousands of years old. So seeing that kind of history, seeing the suits of armor, seeing all the Chinese characters and lettering, amazing, absolutely amazing. Getting hungry. So, of course, after a couple stops at the museum, we had to stop by this place called 𝙿𝚛𝚘 𝚒𝚗. Have you been there before? Were you there before? Yeah, so you've gone there before. So it's kind of like this Asian fusion place. Delicious food. That's all I can literally say. It's ramen. Delicious food.
Yeah, ramen, fried rice. What did we have? We had some like duck, not pierogies.
Bao buns?
But like, bao buns. And some like super healthy for Americans.
Exactly. You wouldn't think it's fast food, but like just you go and order it. If it's made, somebody's making it, but like you literally cash out everything there. Very simple. Yeah. But yeah, so there's one of these, like just like we have like a Dunkin's or McDonald's, like they're everywhere. So it's like, do you feel like 𝚒𝚘 again? Huh, no. Yeah. But no, that was definitely delicious. Yeah, and then shortly after, we went back, took a break as we did before our nightlife. Nightlife consists of going to the 𝚒𝚘𝚘 Steakhouse, which kind of doubles at the Hippodrome as a casino and
a Magic Mike show.
Kind of like a Magic Mike show. I'm like,
oh my god, you got me
Magic Mike tickets. No, between the atmosphere, you can kind of see looking down into the casino, and then the food. Again, the food was amazing. Started off with some goat cheese lollipops with some lemon curd, and me being lactose, it didn't hit me as bad because over there it's a lot more healthier. So the goat cheese was pretty good, and then we got the deal of a lifetime on a surf and turf steak and lobster. And when I say this lobster is the best lobster I've ever had, I could not stop talking about it. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, even better than, no offense, like Maine or New England lobster. I'm like, just the butteriness and just the texture, spice and everything that went to it. I'm like, wow, we need this back in New England.
I think we'll just have to keep going out for lobster this summer and then test it out.
We'll be lobster testers.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so dinner was really good, and then I think, you know, one of Ronnie's big things to check off his list is to make sure that we got to go to Soho, do lots of walking around, and that's like the best place to walk around. There's all kinds of different little shops and bars, particularly gay bars. So we were kind of headed in that direction. We found a little Harry Potter store on the way. I forget, what was it called?
It's kind of like you think of it like a Newbury Comics kind of place where it had a little bit of everything, but this one is specifically called House of Spell, so that caught our eye. So just a bunch of different, I was almost going to say paraphernalia, but no, apparel that's Harry Potter, whether it's real or fake, just like some Louis Vuitton bags. But no, we walked in and it's like Harry Potter stuff everywhere, a mix of Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and some other sci-fi kind of adventure kind of stuff, even the chair from Game of Thrones. But that really caught our eye on the way to Soho. So again, Soho being kind of like the gay end of Boston. So kind of walking between Chinatown and Soho, you kind of get confused and turned around, but walked by the theater where they were doing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Personally, I've read that book. Amazing. Would have been great to see, but nope, we decided on Lion King. And then that night we had gone to GAY Bar. I don't know why they just don't call it gay bar, but GAY Bar. Really cool place. I'd say similar to here, especially like down in Legacy in Boston or Caney Bar. Obviously music popping, lights going, cute boys everywhere, and what made it extra nice was the accent. Like, you would really think everybody in London could be gay because of the way they dress, very metrosexual, very GQ, but until you hear that little gay twang, it's like, oh, hi, how you doing? But no, it was really fun. Honestly, just experiencing gay life somewhere else. That's one of the big things that I personally love to do and that we want to do when we do our travels is experience different queer life around the country, around the whole world, and see what it's really like. So within London, it was really nice. So going to GAY Bar and then ending the night at Piccadilly Circus, which if you guys are Harry Potter fans, in, let me see, the Deathly Hallows Part 1, where they transport from the party where Emma says, oh, I used to come to the theater here with mom and dad. Piccadilly Circus, and it was so cool. Like, being right there, I could picture it all happening. Piccadilly is kind of like the
Times Square of London. It's definitely smaller. It's just like, you know, the big screens and the big department store kind of feel.
Yeah.
In the center of everything. Lots of movement and things happening even at 2 a.m. or whatever time it was. You know?
Like, you think New York or what is it, Vegas is the place that never sleeps. Like, I swear it was always hopping, always busy, no matter what time of night. Of course, like, the Tube only ran so late, so we couldn't stay out incredibly late. Otherwise, we'd have to walk home, which we did not want to do that. But no, like, it was always busy at some point or the other, and that was a nice part. Like, always the energy going, vendors on each side, stores open and whatnot, and it was great. So we ended the night, day 2 on Friday at Piccadilly Circus. The next day is where we go out for breakfast with Gemma again, meeting up with her, getting a personal tour of London, but that's for another video. So once again, until next time, have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you guys back for day 3.
See ya.
Peace out.